All right, welcome everybody to our latest Live Motocross podcast. As I'm joined by former star racer Jackson Richardson, who keeps bringing the heat with his banter on socials after a particularly sort of savage weekend on all fronts, mate, I guess, wasn't it? So after that Australian Supercross in Adelaide, or the Supercross that wasn't for in your case, mate. But before we get you on and hear all about it, we'd like to thank the sponsors in 24MX, Dirt Store, Fuchs Silkaline and Dragon Energy for all their incredible support, as without them, none of this would be possible. And obviously for the fans for listening and supporting the site, we're really grateful for that too. So I'll let you take the floor now, mate. How was the weekend that wasn't? And yeah, just tell us about how the disaster unfolded that meant that you couldn't go.
Oh yeah, well, the vibes were definitely high going into Friday. I got to sleep in a little bit because I knew I wasn't going into work that day, and everything was looking good. I was raring and ready to go. Got to the airport, and I mean the Cairns airport was an absolute zoo when I got there. So security line was out the door, and I thought, oh, you know what? Well, hopefully I just make it through everything here, and I can just make the flight. I was like, just get me on the plane, and then I can kick the feet up a bit. And then I should have known something was afoot when I couldn't check in the day prior. And then I go in there, I had to wait in line, only for them to tell me that they have overbooked the flight and I can't get on the flight. So, so that made a complete 180 on my plans. So, bit of a shit show there trying to sort that thing out. And then there was talk I was going to be able to get on the flight later that day, which I wasn't keen on because I wanted to get down there for qualifying and everything. But I was like, I'll try and get that one. But then it ended up I wasn't going to get out till the next day. And by the time I would have got down there, I would have been there less than 24 hours. So I just decided to pull the pin and just stay home for the weekend, unfortunately, which I was absolutely spewing about because by all accounts from everyone on the weekend, it was an absolutely unreal event. And I'm absolutely pissed that I wasn't in attendance.
Oh, mate, what a disaster, eh? And you're still obviously working on the refund. And I guess the real losers, the Australian moto community, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, a little bit of a loss, but unfortunately, shit like this happens. I mean, I blew an absolute gasket at the guy at the Jetstar help desk when I was at the airport. I made sure I gave him a fair bit of a tune up while I was there and vented all my frustration there. But yeah, so it was a definite bummer. I was looking forward to getting down there just because I haven't been to the races for so long, haven't seen anyone in a while. So unfortunately, it's going to be a lot longer now until next year. But nah, hopefully I'll get around to a few next year, and like we'll plan it out a bit better because I was talking to Sam about it, and we'll try and get some together for next year, and we'll do a bit more stuff next year, like maybe with both series or something like that.
Yeah, mate, look forward to it. Hopefully, A1 as well would be quite good if someone's got the budget in the back pocket. But yeah, no, hopefully you definitely see you out there because you can't actually go to Melbourne, can you?
Yeah, no, I can't go to Melbourne because I had my mate's 30th booked in for that weekend a couple of months back. So, so yeah, because me and a mate were planning on going to that one originally at the start of the year, and luckily we hadn't booked anything because a good friend of mine is having his 30th up in Port Douglas, and we're doing a golf weekend. And I was like, well, you know what? At least it's in Port Douglas, and we're playing golf all weekend, so that just takes the sting out of that one a lot more. So yeah, but I will definitely be keeping tabs on things up there, and I'll probably be a few beers deep up there while I'm watching the Melbourne Supercross.
Oh, it'll be good value, mate. Obviously, it's a little bit easier to stomach than like missing the Adelaide flight, then ended up going back to work. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a bitter pill to swallow when I couldn't make that flight, and then the realization was, really, I still could have taken the day off because I'd already put in for it, but the boys were actually over working on my house, so I figured maybe I shouldn't take the day off and go out and help the lads finish off my house. So, but it wasn't too bad. We knocked back a couple of cold ones at the end of the day, and just so I could forget the memory of what was my Adelaide trip.
Yeah, drown the sorrows, mate. But you still brought some pretty good content over the week. Obviously, today you dropped the Dino concreting one. You had the Brazilian Moto wildness. You had a bit of Mike Tyson stuff and the Wilson one as well. With Jay Wilson ripping that gnarly scrub whip combo. So yeah, you still brought the heat, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we were covering all sports this weekend, and I got absolutely shafted by the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. Social media completely pulled the wool over my eyes because I lost $50 on Mike Tyson. Absolutely robbed me blind, but that just goes to show how social media can just get everyone. I was thinking this was Mike Tyson from back in the 80s, how good he was looking in the socials. And then 60 seconds into the first round, I was like, fucking hell, he looks every bit of 58 years old now. And I have just thrown $50 absolutely down the drain.
Oh, the old man, not quite got it these days, eh? But no,
Yeah.
I guess onto the racing, mate. I guess still watched it. It was pretty good racing, mate, wasn't it? The action was wild. Would have been obviously good to be there in person, but that four main event format certainly made some chaos, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because, yeah, I didn't know it was, I think the last I heard it was just going to be like three mains. But then, yeah, it ended up being four mains, like, which was awesome. And, like, the coverage of it was good because it just went like one after the other. I thought it was good. I like it when if they do back to back races, I like it when they split the classes up. Like they go 250, 450, 250, 450. I prefer that. Give the guys a little more time to recover because I heard it was hot down there on the weekends. So the boys would have been feeling it for sure. So, but no, the racing was good. Racing was tight. The track was good. I thought they did a real good job with the layout there for how much floor space they had to work with. I thought the track was like pretty raceable. And yeah, no, it provided the goods. Both classes went back and forth. There was different winners. So yeah, no, it was good to see.
Yeah, mate. What did you think of the bonus point for getting the fastest lap in the mains to throw something else in there? That's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
well I didn't even realize that was happening until the broadcast started. I was thinking, far out, they've just thrown that in the mix too. But yeah, no, that's cool because like at least it's good, especially if you're like say if you're like Dino on the weekend and you know you're behind on points a little bit, and maybe the race win is like out of reach, then you could just worry about throwing down a hot lap to try and get the bonus point. I mean, which is tough too, because like it's hard enough just to put a qualifying lap together in qualifying itself because like there's always people going everywhere, and then when you're coming up on lap riders that are now actually racing, they're racing for position as well. So yeah, it'd be tough because like was it just the final race where they implemented that, like the fourth race of the night, or was it just the fastest lap between all four races?
Yeah, I think it was 1 point for each race.
Oh right. Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a bonus point in each race.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's a cool concept. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm
And
a fan of
obviously,
that idea. Add 5 bonus points if you flip the finish line.
get amongst it. Yeah, obviously, I reckon a few
Yeah.
blokes can have a crack.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's spice things up a bit.
Yeah, mate. And obviously, that's cool what you were saying with qualifying. And, obviously, sometimes you get a bit of traffic, on the track and whatnot. That Super Pole, which you see in Australian Supercross, World Supercross, even Paris Supercross on the weekend, that's a really cool format and something that's pretty cool for the fans too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like for me, like when I was even over in America, if there was around when I wasn't racing, like I almost enjoyed the practice and qualifying just as much as like the racing itself. Because like the racing itself's good, but practice when you're like a real into it moto fan, that's the time where you see the boys like probably riding at their quickest and like they're at their limit too, like putting a qualifying lap together because they're just going as fast as possible, like just for one lap. So you just see how hard they're going to like put a lap together. So yeah, I've always loved the Super Pole and like different motorsport disciplines. I think they're awesome. Having a track to yourself to put a lap together. Like, it's sick. Like, I think we need to have that at every round, like to start the show off.
Yeah, I believe at Paris and this weekend, Greg Aranda just absolutely launched himself into the nets during Superpole. Like he was
Yeah.
just going so hard, wasn't he?
Oh man, shoot, that guy. Man, I remember watching him in Melbourne last year, and I think he might have qualified like first or second at Melbourne last year. Watched him. I actually watched him put a lap together. He must have been feeling good too, because there was like a quad before the finish line, and then he threw this whip off the finish line because there was the one with the ramp. And like he threw it, and then I think halfway through it, he was like, "Oh shit, I don't think this one's coming back." And like it was one of those ones where like it stalls out midair and the nose drops down. And I was watching the whole thing, just going, "Oh no, this is gonna get ugly." And then he got whiskey on the down ramp, launched the berm. I was like, "This guy's an absolute animal." And then yeah, Paris, same thing happened as well, just sending it.
Yeah, he's an animal, isn't he? I think he went fastest at Paris last year in the Super Bowl. I think he was second today in today's version behind only Jet. So yeah, he can certainly put it together, and he's going to be in WSX in Perth. So bring on the cult following for him. He's a
Actually,
bit of a
how old?
legend.
Actually, just out of curiosity, how old is that guy? He's been around forever.
Yeah, he'd
Yeah,
have
because
to
like
be
the first time
30s.
I ever heard of him was at Paris Supercross. It was that one where he come together with Barsha, and then Barsha waited for him for a
Yeah.
lap and put him up in the burn just to fuck his race. That was the first time I'd ever heard of him, and that was like 2010, 2011 when that was.
Yeah, he's been around the scene for ages. He just keeps
Oh,
going.
he's
It's
been around
awesome.
for a hot minute.
Yeah, I reckon. I guess another dude, probably a good time to talk about it now. Medi, obviously, he was at the final home race for him in the second last pro race. I guess you could say he got a good farewell, mate. Pretty cool having that V8 event for him there, making a special send off. And he got sixth overall, which is no mean feat in that class for sure, mate. So nice farewell for Medi, absolute legend of the sport. Good send off for the great man. I guess from your perspective, obviously, you know him well. How impressive is it seeing him do what he's done in the sport and that he's still racing today?
Oh man, like for him to do what he's doing at his age now, like still competing with the young guys in the sport, like is just unreal. Because like I've been a big Medi fan for a long time. I've followed him for years, ever since I started watching AMA, like back in the early 2000s when I was young, and he was over there. He was obviously one of the few Aussies over there at the time, and like yeah, just to see him, he was always just a battler, like just slowly built his way up over there, and then like eventually like won an overall in America there on the 450 that year, and yeah, and then later down the track, like after when I went pro and he came back and was racing over here, I got to meet him and get to know him a fair bit, and just one of the biggest legends you could ever meet. Like I've got to enjoy spending some time around him and got to know him, and like yeah, just like one of the best dudes. So yeah, it was good to see him put a solid one together on the weekend at his home race, like especially coming off an injury too, and then coming out and like having a good couple of races, getting the sixth overall. I thought that was awesome for him.
Yeah, the dude's an impressive, athlete, just the way he does it, just a great champion of the sport too, for sure, mate. Well said. And I guess your take on the whole V8 Supercars collaboration, really cool what they've done with that to bring more eyeballs to the sport and sort of take advantage of the footprint that the V8s have because there was so many fans through the gates over the weekend. So good market, I guess, to tap into with sort of similar, minded motorsport fans that definitely would like a bit of Supercross because the action was definitely they were treated to some really good action. So I guess your take on it, mate, from your perspective, having the V8s.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, man. Yeah, it's and like the way they did it with like the supercars, and then there was sprint cars there as well. It was almost like a motorsports festival in a way. So yeah, I think it's awesome what they're doing there, and it looked like it was a good turnout for the Supercross as well. Like I like the area it was in, and like the track was like a decent size as well because like they only got a small like floor space there to work with, but it put a really good track together. Like I thought they did a phenomenal job with it, and then the racing was good too. I almost like how it goes straight into finals, like because everything's at stake right off the bat. like there's qualifying and that at the start of the day, but then like when the actual show begins, like everything means something from the get go. So yeah, no, I thought it was really awesome. I like the broadcast, like the way they covered that one too. I thought it was good. There wasn't as much like downtime in between. They were just like pumping them out, which was awesome. Like it was good from a fan's perspective for sure. But yeah, like yeah, it'd be interesting to see like what sort of feedback they get from that one. To me personally, it looked like a success. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they've got a deal there down the road, but like hopefully we can do something there again.
Yeah, definitely capitalize on it for sure. And next year, have you back there, mate. That'd be one good place
Oh,
to
I'll
start.
be making sure I book flights a year in advance just to be safe.
Mate, get yourself on a private jet because at least, you
Yeah,
can't
I'll
get
just
bitten
play
off
it
that
safe.
one.
I'll get a PJ in.
That's it, mate. That was Washougal, Deegan, and Co style, mate. That one. So yeah, bring it on. But yeah, I guess with that LCQ, you mentioned how it wasn't there, and someone like Dylan Wills, that really hurt him, didn't it, mate? Because he had the issues in the heat races, and then obviously didn't make the shortened main, which they condensed in just to have less riders on the track, and so the lappers weren't much of an issue. I guess what was your take on
Yeah,
that? And pretty rough thing to be enduring for Willsy, wasn't it?
yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, like, yeah, it's tough too because, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the riders were told about this. No, like I'm guessing the first news they would have heard about it was at riders meeting. So like you only get a little bit of time to digest that, and like unfortunately sometimes like it just doesn't go your way, like that sort of stuff. Like I remember, like I definitely had a situation like that when they had the Brisbane Supercross in 2019, and it was at the entertainment center, the like real small. So it was only a 10, I think it was a 10 or a 12 rider gate. It might have just been 10. And my, I stalled it off the line in the heat race because the way it worked there, I remember like you couldn't start your bike up like in the tunnel there. So like, you couldn't warm your bike up or anything. And I was running a clutch in it at the time that had to be like hot for it to operate right. And then that morning I broke my foot, so I was racing with that as well to begin with. So I already wasn't having a good day. And then yeah, I stalled it off the line. By the time I got going, I was a lap down. Finished the heat race. I got dead last in the heat race, but to me, I was thinking like, oh yeah, well I got the LCQ. I'll just get ready for that. But the way they did it, they took the two guys who got last in each heat race out, like, because there wasn't enough gates. So I didn't get to race that one anyway. So, like, I've been in a situation like this where it's like, because at the start of the day, you're thinking, well, that's not going to be me. No way. I ain't going to be in no B main. And then you end up there, and then next minute, you're punching the side of the semi.
Oh, man, that's the worst, isn't it? So,
Oh, it's the
yeah,
worst feeling.
that's shocking, mate. But yeah, I guess onto the SX1 class and the winners. I guess your take on Savachi, obviously three in a row now, mate. Still had a bit of drama, but he's definitely in the driving seat now. I guess ahead of the AUSX Open, where Webb and the Lawrence brothers will be probably taking those top spots. So there's less points available and less, I guess, ground you can make up in a lot of ways. But yeah, he had immense speed all weekend. He's looking really fast, and you can tell he's been putting in the work, and he's looking really good, isn't he, mate? He's a class act, and I guess these gate drops are really good for him for WSX and heading into the AMA Supercross as well.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, the starts were key for him on the weekend. Like, minus I think he only got really one bad start,
Yeah.
like, all weekend. And, like, that's just such a huge advantage, especially on a track like that where it's tight and it's difficult to get around people. And, yeah, he only had that one hiccup was it the second final? Yeah, where he'd come together with Cloudy, which I put that incident on him. Like I feel like he should have just checked up a little bit, maybe not launched it into the side of him, and then it was just an unreal circumstance how their bikes just got intertwined and they couldn't get going straight away. Like like, I don't know. It was kind of a racing incident. I thought Cloudy had the front wheel in front on that one, to me personally, by the looks of it. So, like, yeah, I mean, just maybe a mental mistake. But and then I thought, oh shoot, this could rattle him here. Like losing a bunch of points to Dino in that race because Dino came away with the win in that one. I was interested to see how he was going to rebound, and then he just come back out. I think they even switched. From what I heard, they had to switch his bars over to a set of bars that he'd never used before, and he just still came out and just got a win. Like he's just so mentally tough and resilient. So yeah, no, yeah, it was tough, and Dino just couldn't buy a start on the weekend, except for that one race. I think it was the second race. It was the first time I'd seen him whole shot in like 10 years. So it was good to see that. And once he got out in front, he was on fire because like the races where he didn't get good starts in, he was like fifth, sixth, and like it's just so hard to get around guys on that track, especially when Joey Savatgy starts in the lead. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be super tough to mow down, like with the form he's in at the moment. So yeah, it was a bit of a bummer for Dino. I think he came up about 2 points short for the overall, which that's got to sting a little because now he's 8 points back going into the last race. Which, I mean, 8 points seems like a lot, but it's really not that much. And the last round, anything can happen. I mean, I've seen some wild shit happen at some of these finales over the years. So I wouldn't put anything past. This thing is definitely not locked up 100% because anything can happen now. And especially like throwing the two Lawrence brothers in the mix, that'll definitely shake things up. And then, yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be always great to see Dino out there. He's such a great sort of asset for the sport on and off the track, isn't he, mate? And he obviously did that really good interview with Nick from Moto Online about, how he's, doing it pretty tough with his parents both being really unwell at the moment. So, yeah, he'll come out all guns blazing, I guess, for WSX and the AUSX Open. So, a lot of Honda bikes on the track again. And, Joey's had his adversity and title battles in the past. So, I guess, Wilson, you just get those starts, mate, and anything's possible, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm Dino, I might not even be worrying about doing motos during the week. I'm just going to be pounding the starts all week.
I thought you were going to say you'd just be concreting all week.
Yeah. Well, that to get the legs going. Yeah. Which actually, we spoke about this before we got on, and I reviewed the footage. I didn't actually see him get in the slab. So he must have a luscious gig there. He rolls up. He probably rocked up at like 10, 12 o'clock. The boys were probably there at like 5 in the morning pouring that thing. And old Dino rocks up. He's got the kit on, fully decked out like he's been concreting for a long time, rocking up like a supervisor. And then he comes out and jumps on the bull float. And I don't know here. I've seen guys work the bull float before. I seen him stretching that thing out there, and he was shaking like a dog shitting razor blades. Like if that tells me anything, he needs to start pumping the weight in the gym a bit more because the arms were hanging on by a thread when he was stretching out, putting the bull float on.
Yeah, mate, the boys would have been like 5, 6 beers deep by then.
Oh, 100%. Like if it's 9 o'clock, the stubbies are already getting cracked open. Like the hard work's done by then. Pouring it into the slab is the hardest part. Finishing's the easy part. And old Dino just rocks up. Specs on, got the speed dealers on, fresh out of totally workwear. he's put the best on. And he's just rolled up and just absolutely come in for the glory run to do the finishing.
Oh, mate, that's it. That's how you do it, isn't
it? Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because it was only on Thursday. I had to do some concrete and starting the pour at 7 in the hot sun. Actually, that's one thing. I don't know why he's struggling here. It must have been like 10 degrees down there in Victoria. I'm up here in 35 degrees, 80% humidity. Absolutely dying of dehydration. Probably need to get an IV after I poured this thing. And this fella just gets to rock up late and just in the perfect conditions, in for the glory run. Actually, we got a name for guys like him. He's called Blister because he shows up after the work's done.
Oh, mate, I don't think that's the last we'll hear of this issue from you.
Oh yeah, nah. I'm gonna have to break down the film a bit more, I reckon. I love it. It's good to see. It's good content from him. I love it. I remember there was a couple of years ago he did a post where he did some work with his old man for a day too. And I think they were doing some demo work on a house. They were busting up tiles and that, and he had to get on the sledgehammer. And I was like, oh boy, just absolute. How's the form on the sledgehammer here? And I think he said in the post, he's like, man, I've got new respect for what my old man does because this is not easy work. And don't worry, I thought this for a minute when I came back to the trade. I thought I may have made the wrong decision here. And maybe I should have just stuck to racing. Maybe racing was a little bit easier than swinging the hammer.
Yeah, mate, certainly put you through your paces or even pouring coffees.
Oh yeah, it'll show you just how bad you want it. And like I said, there's no greater motivation to get a win like going out and doing a day's work of concreting. That'll put the fire under any man. Like that'll make you go, you know what? I'm gonna do the extra 20-minute moto. I'm gonna do the extra starts. I'm gonna cycle a bit more.
Oh, mate, it's awesome. And I guess another bloke that was certainly hard at work on the Saturday was Jed Beaton. How good was he, mate? First Supercross podium, first podium of the season for CDR. I guess most, including him, would not have predicted that he'd be getting it this soon, I guess. So, especially with such an accomplished heavy hitter like Moss as his teammate. So, I guess all that hard work on the test tracks paid off. And it was pretty cool. You listen to that Gypsy Tales podcast with Kai de Wolf, who he used to be teammates with in the GPs at Nestart, and they said they were chatting a bit of Supercross together because they're both sort of learning it a little bit, with Kai wanting to obviously go there one day, and he's been doing that training, but obviously Jed's racing it, which is a separate beast, so respect to him, mate. Massive effort, and yeah, he'll be another one to watch out for in Melbourne.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, what a ride on the weekend because he made a couple of passes actually in that flat 90 just before the finish line jump. He must have been nailing that better than anyone on the weekend. And that's a tough corner to make, especially on that surface where it's real hard pack and slick. And he was nailing that better than anyone. And he was just picking guys off, making his way through the pack. And this weekend was probably the first weekend where I probably seen him look a little more aggressive on the Subi track. He was forcing passes on guys and trying to make his way through. And just a consistent round and was able to put it on the box. It was an absolute unreal performance from him.
Yeah, mate, he's certainly looking good, and the Supercross is definitely, coming quite well to him. And I guess with the motocross threat too, CDR's got a really great rider for both formats there. And I guess you mentioned Cloud earlier. He grabbed Super Pole. The speed was immense, and he's still in it, obviously, but not the weekend he was looking for. I guess that incident with Joe we were talking about is never good. He got second in the first main. The starts were looking good. It was he looked primed for a really good evening. Maybe with those formats, he could have even been the one that was winning it, mate. But I guess he'll just be looking to lock in third in the title now, probably realistically. And it's been a good season. He's shown a heap of speed. He's always aggressive, intense, great racer. Probably not the easiest bloke to race against, but for the fans and for his team, he's certainly putting on a good show, isn't he?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, he's been on fire all season, and then got Super Pole as well. Put an unreal lap together to get the pole position in that one, and then had a good solid first race, and then unfortunately that crash with Joey really set him back a ways, and then he just couldn't quite get it together after that, so that hurt him on points for an overall. But he's still solid third in the championship. He's re-upped with Kawasaki for next year, so he'll be with them again. So he's looking good, and he's solid third in the championship. Still got a chance to possibly get a win at the last round. It'll definitely be tough. It's a real pick 'em for that round, really, especially when you throw the Lawrence brothers in the mix. Who knows what could happen there. Especially with a couple of races back to back, it'll be awesome. But he's had a phenomenal season, and his speed's been unreal. He's always been good at Supercross, but I reckon this is close to as good as I've seen him look. like even in his championship, yeah, I think he looks like even better now on the Cowie. So yeah, no, he's just getting better and better each time, and yeah, he'll be on it for the last round.
Yeah, he looks comfortable and happy in that framework, that's for sure. And it's certainly translating to his speed on the track and just his, yeah, happiness overall, mate. So it's looking good. Another guy that's looking nice and aggressive of late's Tanti, mate. He's definitely on the limit and he'd like to probably clean up a few things and he'd be on the box for sure. But obviously, the big talking point, he was involved in that Wills incident. But like, he'd probably be thinking he should be on the podium given the speed and the skill. And just those couple of bits of adversity accosted him in the last two rounds. But he's always looking ready to rumble and he's got that fight in him. And obviously, Willsey wasn't happy about that in that instant. But yeah, he's fifth in the championship. Another one of those Aussies rising to the fore and given those imports, I guess you could say, a good run for their money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He had a couple of good runs on the weekend as well. He just seems to like he's usually like a really consistent starter, but like yeah, he's been inconsistent with him this season. Like he'll get a good start in one race and then he'll be mid pack the next. So like and like with the field being like so close together, like like it's just tough to make your way through, especially with everyone being so close on speed. But yeah, like yeah, for him to come in late, not have much time on the Honda, and like for him to do what he's doing is awesome to see. Like it would have been good for him to like it would have been good to see him with a bit more time under his belt. I think he would have definitely like hit the ground running a bit harder and like be possibly on the podium by this point. But yeah, nah, couple weeks off, like especially in these sprint formats, Taney's always been really good. So like especially for this last round, I'm eager to see what he's got.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. He's looking good. Another guy that sort of would be cool to see if he had a bit more time on Supercross is obviously Webster. He was busy winning the Motocross of Nations, mate. So,
Yeah.
awesome achieving what he did. But yeah, he came back out there, mate. Got a couple of fourth places, like really impressive. Seemed like he was enjoying himself. I believe he's going to race World Supercross too. So yeah, good to have Webster back
Mhm.
out there. Obviously, would have got a pretty good reception. The fans, super great for what him and the Lawrence brothers have done, getting that result, bringing home the first motocross of nation. So yeah, that's awesome, mate. Yeah, he was pretty impressive, wasn't he? All things
Oh
considered.
yeah. No, he looked good. Yeah, no, definitely. Supercross is not really his forte, but over the last couple of years, he's like vastly improved at it. So yeah, nah, man, he had a good, solid couple of races. Probably could have had a better overall result if not for I think it was the third race where Mossy made a dive bomb for the inside and absolutely grenaded the boys. And so that one set him back a bit, but man, he was solid. Like his starts were good. He was up the front each time, and yeah, like put together a good couple consistent races. So yeah, hopefully he has a good run at the hometown race. It'd be so awesome if he got a win over there. They might burn that place to the ground if he somehow gets a race win over there. Like if any of the WA boys get a win, many are in the 250 or Webby on the 450, that place, the amounts of beers that might get consumed in that stadium is going to be astronomical.
Oh, mate, Webster, obviously beat the likes of Tomac and Roxon at the Nations essentially as a team, so why not do it again on World Supercross?
Hey, that's it. I mean, he's already tailed them up once in the in the Des Nations. So hey, World Supercross. So hopefully they've got some sand on that track just to give him a little bit of an advantage and get him up there.
Oh, mate, for sure. They love a good sand section in Supercross these days, so surely they got the home lads sorted there, mate. But I guess before we head on to SX2, just a quick few words on Mossy. Obviously, he was looking pretty raceable, like you said, mate. He was involved in a few
Oh yeah.
aggressive moves and some assertive situations. But yeah, looked a bit more like back to the old Matt Moss, some really good speed, had that sort of, feisty competitiveness in him. A couple errors, but yeah, look, definite improvement, signs of some good progress, and you always know he's up for the challenge. He's tough as nails. And yeah, always fun to watch, mate. Brings a lot to the series.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's still got that fight in him, no doubt. Just has to stay off the ground at this point because, like, I mean, he gets the starts and he can run with the front guys, but yeah, just don't know what it is this season. He just always seems to be on the ground most of the time. So if he's just got to, I think he's just got to just try and figure out how to, like, even if it's like just to slow up a little bit and then just put the laps together. Like, because he can definitely be on the podium, like just as bad as anyone else. Like, he's got the speed and the talent to do it. But yeah, just these little inconsistencies, like especially this season, it seems like more than ever. So so yeah, I don't know what he's got to do to figure it out there, but I mean, you can never count him out because he could be on
Yeah.
the podium next weekend easy enough. Like he's just got that in him. You just can never count him out. So yeah, just got to get the inconsistencies figured out. It seems like.
Yeah, mate, absolute weapon. I guess you look back a couple of years ago and he was the Prince of Paris, wasn't he? So that just shows what a class act he
Yeah,
is, and all the stuff he's done in his career. But yeah, he could have been doing the same. He probably would have gone close. He would have put on a good show in Paris this weekend too, mate.
yeah, no, that's it. Like, yeah, he's won that. He got second in this championship 2 years ago. So like I mean, he's proven he's won it multiple times. So like, and like he still looks good. Like he still looks good on a bike. So yeah, I just don't know what's happened this season. I would have to imagine that he's probably carrying some sort of injury at some point, especially because what I was hearing at round one is like he had a massive one in qualifying, and they said it was bad enough to where this was on day one, and they didn't think he was going to be able to race that night. And like, especially with him at his age, like, unfortunately, those injuries just you you feel the sting just a little bit longer. You don't just bounce back like you're a young fella. I mean, I've felt that multiple times nowadays. So I can only imagine what he's feeling for sure. So yeah, just gotta try to heal up as best he can and just put it all together at the last round.
Yeah, mate, he's a warrior. I'm sure he'll come out swinging for sure. And obviously on WSX2, Shane McElrath got the win, made absolutely epic performance, some amazing, speed and skill. And I guess Brody gave him a good run for his money, chasing the seasoned veteran all the way, that epic finish in one of those races there. And yeah, but Shane sort of got that experience and that racecraft edge. He's kind of been seen, done it all. He sort of rises above in those situations. And that track was a pretty special beast for him as well, he was saying. But yeah, he was just leading the pack of that strong Honda charge, wasn't he, mate? He's in control, 10-point lead. He's got all the experience and, the skill and everything to get the job done, which we fully expect he will, mate. He's got that little bit of an edge in just a lot of areas over those more younger races. But yeah, good for him winning. I'm guessing he's getting some nice bonus money too. So it's been a pretty successful and profitable trip for Shane, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's just on fire at the moment and just has everything together and just looks like he's getting better and better each race, which is scary for the other boys because but I mean, Brody Connolly gave him a good run on the weekend. Like he was probably I thought to me he was my like I'm not going to say biggest surprise. I knew he was good, but he probably impressed me the most over the weekend. I thought he made he was already making a lot of improvements, but I felt like he made a big jump on the weekend there. Like getting in the mix with him and like just wasn't afraid. Like when Shane passed him, he went right back at him and he made some aggressive passes too. Like he was getting in the mix big time. So yeah, he gave him a good run. Shane came out on top in the end. So yeah, and now it's 10-point lead. That's going to be tough to come back from. The boys are probably going to have to hope for a big mistake, which is very unlikely with the form Shane's in at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be tough for the rest of the boys.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I guess Larwood getting the podium on home soil was pretty awesome for him. Just consistent, steady, and obviously had that massive crash at Wollongong. So to come back from that and put in such an impressive effort, it's very, just an excellent effort, really, mate. So I guess as that completed the Honda lockout on the podium, keep your Eve happy for sure. And another beaten pro formula athlete. They're doing great things down there, mate. They're fast tracking the Supercross guys pretty impressively, aren't they?
Oh man, they got one hell of a crew down there, and they put in the work big time. So a lot of guys in that program have had good success, and then yeah, I mean, hats off to Larwood, especially like with him. This being, I'm pretty sure this is his first season as well. I'm pretty sure, and hasn't had a real good run coming into this. Like he's had a couple of crashes, a big one at Wollongong. so that rattled him a little bit. But he's rebounded and like just put together a consistent weekend. Like just kept it up there. Like got good starts. The I kept hearing that he could never get starts, but every time I've seen him on the gate this year in the Supercross season, he's like either first or he's inside the top three. It seems like off every start. So obviously he's got that figured out, and yeah, the kid's been on fire, and like yeah, it was awesome to see him get a podium too. That'll do plenty for his confidence. And then yeah, it'll be good for him to have that going into the last race of the season and have a good building year going into next year.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. And obviously, look through some of the other, SX2 guys. Cole Thompson had a bit of a night to forget. Obviously, it just seemed like he was pushing too hard to make those moves and get those really good results. But he's always pushing the limit, and he's a good competitor, and he's fierce, and he makes for the action, doesn't he? And I guess Mania getting fifth, another good effort. And obviously, Reed Taylor would have probably been on the podium, I believe, but he just got a penalty for something like speeding off the track or going too fast when he got bumped off the side or something like that. But yeah, social post was something like very questionable decision by the stewards, essentially, was the gist of it. Yeah, so bit of a shame for him because he was riding really well and he's got good speed and skill. And I guess Barham behind him, another solid night. And Mania, Taylor, Barham, they're all going to World Supercross as well. So busy schedule for them, but awesome experiences, no doubt, as well, mate. So your take on those guys?
Yeah, no, really good, like pretty good performances all around by everyone. Like Minia had another solid weekend, led some laps, and he looked good. And then I was expecting a little more out of Barham this season, like because he's had a couple of years in Supercross now in the lights class. I don't know, just because I expected a bit more from him. I don't know what's happened there. And like his starts have been horrendous. Like he just hasn't got the starts, and he's normally known as a good starter. So I didn't. He's been like he's surprised me just like with the form I've seen him in. I was just expecting a little bit more out of him this season because I know he can ride good. Like I know he can compete with the top guys, but yeah, he's just been a step back this season. And then yeah, unfortunately for Thompson as well, like he had a good run going, but then it just came apart at the seams there, like from basically the second race onwards. Had that gnarly get off, like where the front end tucked up the up ramp, like that's almost a worst case nightmare. I've definitely had nightmares of that situation where the front tire tucks up the up ramp and then it bites and it just high sides you. I was surprised he didn't get hurt because usually that sort of impact does a collarbone or something like that. So, and it bent the hell up out of the bike. So yeah, unfortunately that was probably his title chase ending right there. But I mean, he'll bounce back. I mean, I like the way he rides. I like his style. Like he's always good to watch. He's super smooth. He flows on the bike. So yeah, just got to come out, try to get a dub for the season, and try to get some bonus money at the last round.
Yeah, mate, that's what it's all about. And I guess that sort of wraps up the AUSX chat. I guess do you want to chat a little bit about Paris Supercross? Obviously, Webb got the job done essentially. He was consistent, steady, looked good in the fly gear, the star bike. It was all looking good, mate. And obviously, Jet won 5 of the 6 races, but just that one where he was leading and hit the lapper cost him. So on the points in the end. But yeah, Jet, very impressive again, mate. Hunter wasn't quite his usual self, obviously on the new bike. Just having a few gremlins with finding comfort and just getting it dialed in the whoops and whatnot. But really cool event, mate. How did you go finding a stream? There was a lot of talk about the issues with the MXGP TV not working, but I don't know how you've gone getting something dialed there, mate. But it was a pretty cool event. It's always a great event, precursor towards the Supercross season, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep up to date on like all the socials stuff. So I just saw the clips and that. So I haven't watched a full race yet. So I might have to get on YouTube and watch it. But yeah, I take a little bit from it, but I don't really take a whole lot from the Paris Supercross. It's a good race to get ready for. I was actually surprised with how good Malcolm Stewart looked at this one. I thought he looked unreal. Probably the best I've seen him look in a long time. So hopefully that's a bit of a precursor for him coming into this season because he's had a rough couple of years lately. So yeah, hopefully he gets it together and then yeah, won. Unfortunately, that race came together with a lapper that set him back. But yeah, I don't like to take too much out of this because guys are starting to adjust. It's basically the first race back in like a couple of months. So guys are trying to find their feet. And then the supercross track like Paris is a lot different to an AMA supercross track. It's a good race to do in the off season to get ready for it. But yeah, the guys look good. Webb looks solid. And like I said, I was surprised with Malcolm Stewart probably the most out of everyone because everyone else I kind of expected to be where they were at, but I was surprised with how good Mookie looked. Like he looked awesome across the whoops because like that was usually his bread and butter. But I don't know, just for the last year or so, like I just didn't really see that out of him. But man, he's looking good. He's looking froggy on the bike. So I'm keen to see him at A1 this year. Hopefully, getting in the mix with the boys.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. There's obviously been a few issues with that bike that him and Christian Craig were dealing with, so hopefully they've got that sorted out. And obviously Craig's not there anymore, but yeah, Mookie's a legend for sure, and he's got all the speed and skill. Yeah, he's just so good to watch, and yeah, look for that in 2025. And I guess what's the week ahead looking like for you, mate? Obviously, you're going to be bringing some more content, no doubt. World Supercross on the horizon. Obviously, between work, mate, you're slaving it out in the heat up there. So yeah, what's it look like for
Yeah.
you, mate?
Oh yeah, right now this week, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done this week. So we're gonna be we're gonna be struggling to get through the heat. I can tell you that. It was a long day today, and I know I've got a long week ahead of me. But at least I got 2 days of WSX this weekend to sink my teeth into. So yeah, hopefully the racing will be good there. This race going back, a Supercross going back over to Perth is exciting. I know the fans over there will be absolutely frothing for that one. So yeah, no, it'll be good. And then we got a lot of Aussie guys in the race at that one, couple of wild cards. So no, it'll be exciting. I'm eager to see how that one plays out. I've sort of like had a look at where the race is going to be at. It's an outdoor stadium, and like it'll. Oh, I'm guessing it's a night race at this point. Actually, you'd want to hope it's a night race at this time of year over there because I'd imagine it'd be cooking. So yeah, fitness will probably and conditioning will probably play a factor over there as well, just with being super hot over there.
No, it's going to be wild too, mate. They don't mind the formats, the switch ups, and the quick, sharp, short, sharp racing as well, mate, to throw a spanner in the works. So, no, it should be good, mate. Definitely thanks again for joining us on this one, and thank the partners and sponsors in 24MX, Dirt Store, Fuchs Silkaline, and Dragon Energy for all the incredible support. As without them, none would be possible. All right, thanks again for joining us, Jats. It's been another great chat, mate, and all the best for the rest of the week.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Thanks for having me on again.